Hello everyone, it is May 3rd, 2025, and I'm doing a little garden update. Here, I've planted some radishes. They have grown pretty big. I planted them about 4 weeks ago, and as you can see, there's a pretty big radish here. I think they're ready for harvest now. In this pot over here that has nothing, probably gonna plant some beans. In here some zucchinis, and here some tomatoes. In here I started some lettuce. I didn't put enough soil in, so they weren't growing so well, but then I recently added some, so they're growing okay now. It's got some nice leaves. And I got some tomatoes in this grow bag here. They're not doing so well. I don't know why. If you remember the vegetable patch from my old video, we have since removed that, and we have put in a greenhouse. That's where the vegetable garden was. I got some more radishes here, but they weren't doing so well. You can see that they're very small, and they're already starting to grow the stalks for flowers. So they're not doing very well, so I think those were a fail this year. In here, I don't really have many plants because in the daytime it gets too hot and the plants just dry up. It gets way too hot in here in the daytime, especially in the summer. All of these plants here were started from seed in these little pots here. Here I got some nasturtiums that I need to plant. I planted some in here, but I don't know what happened to them. I think they may have died. I have some beets started in here, some sunflowers, and more tomatoes. These ones seem to be doing a lot better. I also started composting about a year ago, 2 years ago, and I've added a lot of scraps. And in the bottom, here's the result that I recently dug out. Here's the result. Here I have some strawberry plants, and I've also started a climbing bean plant back here, and I usually use this to cover it up. This is just a plastic ball that I cut the bottom off. I use that as a little greenhouse. Here I got an herb garden, so here you have some lemon balm, tarragon, thyme, some peppermint, and there's something here. I forgot what it was, but I think it died. Got some more strawberries here in flower. And here's a little willow tree sapling that I started. I just got a willow stick from the park, and I put it in a glass of water, and it has grown into a nice tree. Here I got a cottonwood, and here's a Lombardy poplar. The trick to growing radishes is to start them in early spring when it's not too hot, because radishes do not like warm weather. I remember last year I planted them when it was really warm, and they did not do so well. I got very small radishes with very thick skin, so they were not that good last year, but I planted them earlier this year in February, and they have grown really well. Here you got an azalea plant, lots of nice flowers, a Japanese maple that I have also started from seed, and I have no clue what these are. Someone can please tell me what these are. You got a blueberry bush over here, lots of flowers. Got a bunch of ferns and some wildflowers here, and I also planted a sunflower right over here. I've started some more plants here. There's this lettuce plant that has recently started, 2 sunflowers, and 3 nasturtium plants. There's also some peppermint growing under here. I think that's basil. Yeah, that's basil. Some more herbs. You got oregano here, rosemary, sage, more oregano. That's pretty much it for the backyard. Oh, and an apple tree here. Now, onto the front yard. Now at the front yard, you can see that I've planted some poppies around the tree and got a flowering plant here. It's got some buds, and some bee-friendly flowering plants over here. You got 3 heathers over here. I planted some nasturtiums, 1, 2, and 3 over there. Some sunflowers, and there are 2 lilac trees here with nice flowers. You got a purple one on one branch and a white one on another one. All on one tree. Another willow tree here that's been grown from a stick that I've broke off a tree at the park. Another nasturtium, some pansies, and another sunflower. You've got this maple tree over here. I believe this is a Norway maple. And I thought this was a Norway maple, but the leaves look different. Got a horse chestnut tree over here. And here's a Saskatoon berry. So you can see that the flowers have recently fallen off, and now the berries are starting to form. And here just started with the flowers. Some more nice yellow pansies over here. You got these. I also do not know what these are. Here, at the front, you have 3 Japanese maples. Lavender plant. Oak tree. Here I recently planted some stuff. Here's a poppy plant, another poppy plant, sunflower. Here you got a bean plant. There's a nasturtium over here. It's starting to grow quite big. Sunflower, sunflower, sunflower. And here I've started some garlic. They're not doing so well. I don't know what's going on with that. Is there a problem in the soil? Okay, there's the garlic bulb that is starting to form now. Got 1, 2, 3. I also spread a lot of my compost from the backyard out here. I noticed that there are some tomato plants growing from it. I think those are from the seeds of the tomato plant, of the tomato that I threw in there. Some interesting plants here. I believe these are those little sunflowers. Here's a avocado shell from my compost. Just gonna bury that. You got a zucchini plant that I've just recently planted a few days ago. Here's the bee area. So a lot of these plants are bee friendly. A lot of poppies. A potato plant. Some more of these. A fern. Here I've got a climbing bean plant. It just sprouted. You can see that's the shell, and then it came out. I've also got a grapevine here. And there's a lot of these little ones coming out too. Here you got a hellebore, also called a Christmas rose. That is another flowering plant. This was a fig tree. It used to be at the back yard, and then we transplanted out here, and then most of it died, so then we cut it down. But now I can see that there are some shoots coming out from the stump, so it was still alive. In the backyard, it was in a pot, and when we transplanted it, we took apart the pot, but then we noticed it was a wooden pot, and the roots of the fig tree were really coming out of the pot, and they were really thick roots, and when we cut them off, the plant started to die. Okay, on from the fig stump. We got a paper tree over here in this nice pot that me and my dad made. These here were daffodils, and then we have an avocado plant. So I threw a rotting avocado in my compost, and then when we spread the compost over the veggie garden, I noticed that there was something growing out of it, and a few months later we had this nice avocado tree. You can see that the first year it grew up to about here, and then last year it grew up to here, and now it just started growing again. Got a palm tree here. The leaves are yellow. The older leaves are yellowing at the tip, but then the newer leaves are nice and green. You got a bay tree. Some kind of moss. It's quite nice. Don't know what it's called though. Pansies, eucalyptus, succulent, calla lily, and another Japanese maple, and another handmade pot. An azalea plant that's just finished flowering. You can see that they're falling off now. There's the grapevine from earlier. Some canna lilies. They aren't coming out as well as last year, so I think the frosted snow this year might have froze the bulbs and some of them died. But so far it's okay. A horse chestnut in another handmade pot. Another nice maple. And here you have a persimmon tree. It's the tag. And here is the tree. We bought this tree and this tree from the city for $10 each. It was part of their tree sale to encourage tree planting in the city. More Japanese maples. As you can see, we have a lot of Japanese maples. Another one over here. This one's quite nice. So when we first started this one, when it was a seedling, we cut it over here, and then it turned into 3, and then we cut it here again, and now it's multiple trunks, and it's a really nice maple. Here we have I believe this is a fir tree that we got from Home Depot, and you can see that it just started sprouting. We have some nice buds here. Another succulent, and you can see that when they get bigger, they start having little baby ones coming out over here from the sides, and then you can pluck them out and plant them and have another one. Some more of these. I believe this is a Canadian maple. Cypress tree, horse chestnut, big cottonwood, another larger horse chestnut tree, succulents, sunflower. I also put an onion in a glass of water, and it has grown. It has some roots now. It's green shoots. Another larger lilac tree over there. And that is it for the front yard. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you next time.